Masters Maniac Mexico.
Hello and welcome to my little toy action and adventure universe where the world and its values are still completely in order. Today I want to invite you to review with me the new action pack of Masters of the Universe Mexican Bootleg that recently appeared here in the Mexican market. It's just a couple of days ago that I was able to conceive this and what I developed during the last month and weeks. And although we over here in Mexico are also suffering from the COVID a lot, and the COVID is slowing down the things a lot, we have new Masters of the Universe bootlegs. We have new Masters of the Universe molds. We have reproductions of old molds. So the topic is picking up a little speed. It's getting a little spicy, and the upcoming of the Netflix series Masters Revelations as well here is noticed and gives us back a little bit feeling of the 80s when it comes to the toy markets in Mexico. So here we go. What I present you as a power pack you can handle as the Mexican equivalent to the Rise of Evil set or whatever that Mattel is publishing. We have here a bag that comes together with all the 5 figures that we can see here. These are small figures, not mini figures, but small figures that have a height of around 2.5 centimeters, 5 centimeters each. Well, the Battle Cat is around 5.5 centimeters long. The figures are around 4.5 centimeters long. And well, this is what you can say about their height. But let's have a look what this bundle, as it came, has to offer us. And of course, we're going to start with the protagonist of all the series, which is our favorite He-Man. Let's have a look at him here. Well, as you can see him here, a very stable figure for being in a Mexican bootleg here. Very stable painting here. A little bit rests from the mold, where the mold has been cut on the top. That can be regulated very easily. But well, if you ask me if you can identify this guy clearly as what he is, He-Man, the protagonist of the Masters of the Universe, well, you can. There is absolutely no doubt who he is. I recently think that he has a little bit of the face of the Super 7 Classic series. I think we can see a little bit of that in this figure as well. Although it's way smaller, material is not that good, and well, moving points are sad. Talking this guy has only 4 points of articulation, which is the head that can turn around, the arms can go up and down, and the wrist can turn around as well. The feet are not moving, the knuckles are not moving, there is nothing of extra movement or articulation that this figure is coming with, nothing at all. If we take a look at the painting is pretty well. You can say, as well as the molding. The mold is very clear. The painting is equal. A little bit of blue left or right, but the Iron Cross is really well painted, as well as the face, the eyes, a little bit starry. But at this size, we have seen this kind of painting in figures that are far more expensive, especially if we come to the manga sector. So I'm very happy for what it presents to me. Right, so the sword can be picked up. It's not connected to the figure, so we can see the sword here easily coming around. And it's a small sword. It's a little bit bulky, and well, this is really the point of critics that I have about this figure here is the sword, the accessory. Well, it is identifiable, but the mold is not that clear, and mostly it really. Yeah, it is a little bummer that this comes only molded by one side, although it's painted both sides. This is a little bummer. The plastic also is very thinny. It's very easy to move it around, and so it gets deformed by the while hanging all the time in its arm, and it's a thing that I don't like. Well, if we're starting with the back, let me turn that back to his hand. There we go. There it is. There he holds it, nice and steady. If we come to the back, well, we first have to mention that you can easily pick off his arm shield. Well, the arm shield is easily to be picked up, no problem. Really nice mold, as I think, and with the golden color, a really nice solution, so it can be stuck and united to its back, which I honestly think it's an advantage if you compare this to the original. This is a function that fans are demanding a little while for. In the meantime, you get versions where the sword is applicable, but well, this is something really nice, isn't it? And here we can see that also the back is pretty much well painted. Well, let's go. Here's the antagonist. There we go with Senior Mr. Skeletor. So has Skeletor, Mr. Skeletor. Well, he's also pretty nicely made here. Well, the Havoc stuff, I'll leave it enhanced. Nicely, better like that. Well, the Havoc stuff comes with a very thin plastic. The figure itself is not the same mold, as you can see, as it comes far more articulated as He-Man, especially if we are looking at the biceps muscles. And if we're taking a look at the armor here, it is really nicely molded, and the paint job is at 100%. There's absolutely no over paintings, there's absolutely nothing looking like that. And the face, well, not seeable in the camera that well. The face also is molded very, very well here. Right, the face, let's try, I'm trying that it focuses it. Doesn't want to get it like always. Well, the face is nicely molded, and face as well as the head of the Havoc stuff are painted in a glow-in-the-dark color, so we have a kind of scare glow effect in the night. So I like it, I really like it. The figure itself also comes with 4 points of articulation, only head, arms up and down, and wrist can move within this figure. Yeah, staff as said, as well as the sword, a little bit thin. Plastic is deforming here. Nothing that you can't regulate with heat, and something that is definitely acceptable for being a bootleg and being a part of a 5 figures bulk, right? So what we got here, look, the back mold, even his the cape is molded very, very well. You can see it, it's all very nicely molded, no over paintings, and really, really well made. So this is Mr. Skeletor, and I really like him. Well, if we want to come to my 2 favorites here around, the Panther and this really, really great Battle Cat, I will show you what I have to show, taking the Panther as an example, for a very easy reason. Both of these figures come in a translucent plastic, so both come in a the Battle Cat comes in a very translucent, from this perspective, nicely seeable green plastic, very steady and sturdy plastic, really nice feeling in the hand, nicely molded, which we can see. Both figures have the same base mold, so I can exactly the same figures, so I can use the violet one better to explain you. The green one is going to give us unwanted video effects for being green translucent. I try to X that out, but to be honest, I'm not the best if it comes to technical thing. Basically, I'm an old guy. Well, let's have a look at that Panther, who will give us the example for the Battle Cat as well, because both figures are working the same way. There's absolutely no difference. So as you can see, a nice, really translucent mold here, plastic that they're using with the violet. It really pops out. It's really nicely made. And if we come closer here, you can see that the mold is really nice, because the fur and the lines of the fur and everything is clearly seeable. The moldation of the face is really nicely made. We have a very good and well made figure here. for what it is, right? It is very limited in movement, and it's not only the optics that really remind us very, very hardly to the original 80s first production of Battle Cat and Panther, but it's also, the missing out of articulation points. This guy just stands still, and even it comes with a little bit more movements than the original Battle Cat came with, or the original Panther came with, for it's able to move his head easily, right? So the whole head can be turned, and you can take some positions here, and the tail can be moved as well. But these are literally the only two parts that are movable that you can say are articulation points in that case. But there's another interesting thing that it comes with. Well, it comes with a ball joint system, which you can see here, where the armor is set up, the saddle is set up, right? And the ball joint system is made in a way that you can also figure or that you can put the figures on it very nicely, and that they kind of click in and take a very, very firm riding position, if you want it like that. So it's a really nice idea that they came up even in a small bag of bootlegs here with an idea like that. Well, the armor can be taken off, and as we see, as a nice surprise, well, you can stay here, no problem. It's really nicely painted, right? And if we look at the position that it has, if it's standing, well, if it comes to Battle Cat, it really, and not to Panther, it really reminds me, you can see that here, it really reminds me to the position that Cringer always took. Let's second the mask to see, no? That Cringer always looked when Adam got out the sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, and Cringer never wanted, so he got into that position. Really nicely made, both figures really nicely painted, and with this play effect, really cool in my opinion. So what I can say, I am really happy with what this bag of bootlegs is showing me so far. Easy adapting, no problem. And what I really want to mention is the great painting of the eyes if it comes to Battle Cat's armor. And this is really extremely nicely painted, and it's both of them are really nicely painted. With the red, it even pops out a little bit better. So here we go with the red one. It really pops out. This is so hilariously nice, right? It's really nice painted. And the eyes, which are often a very difficult point when it comes to professional toy manufacturers, are painted perfectly here. So I'm gonna let him stand like that, so we can see a little bit what the options of these guys are, right? Easily adaptable, absolutely no problem. There we go, here they are. Well, while the eyes of Panther or Battle Cat are still staring at us, we can take a staring look at the last figure that we have in this action pack of 5 figures, which is our Orko. Well, this little guy is just 2 centimeters tall. It's just a cute little figure. If it comes to a comparison to the original 80s Masters of the Universe Orko, it definitely identifies. Although it's a little bit bulky, well, it's 40 years later. The guy gained a little bit of weight. I think he had probably too much Crispies or whatever was going on here. He's a little bit bulky, no, in comparison, but that is also because it's a lot smaller. Original Orko has around 3.7 centimeters, so this one is with hardly 2 centimeters, a really tiny guy, but really nicely painted. What we can't see here in the camera that well, it also comes in a translucent kind of reddish plastic that comes really close to what is the original Orko. Hey, there's another alien coming around saying hello, being interested in what we're doing here. Heinrich, mein kleiner Schatz, gleich geht's weiter. Well, let's come back to Orko. This guy, although a little bit bulky, clearly identifiable for what he is and what he wants to be, and the blue is really identical to what I know from the original product, right? From the original 80s product. There's many lines, but I'm referring to the original vintage 80s line, and this line has these effects. Well, we can move the arms of this guy, which is pretty much everything that we can move here. It's not turning around, whirling around, but it still has an action figure, which is a typical action figure if it comes to Mexican bootleg, if you want it like that, right? So, which is, he has a light down below, and we can switch it on. It's also having some effects, yeah, like usual LED lights nowadays that are coming in many toys. And I think it's a great idea because you can give him this magical effect, and you can let him speak his little riddle there. Orko from the Powerlands. Oh, Orko aus dem Zauberland, reich mir deine helfende Hand. I'm sorry, I don't know it in English. I neither know it in Spanish. I only know it in German. Well, failure of birth. Sorry. So there we go, and I really like this effect, and I'm really in love with this little cute Orko figure. And yeah, let's come to a short resume, which is a pretty easy resume, no? If I look at this bulk of 5 figures, and I really took in command for what these Mexican bootlegs go for, and what you have a ready-made action pack. There's the 2 protagonists of the series. There are the 2 major battle animals in this case. There is another main character, if not side protagonist of the show, in the form of Orko. They have weapons, they have armors, you can get them out, they have reasonable moving points. Not more, not less what our action figures in the 80s had. And yeah, I'm really happy. They're nicely made, they're stable. If they fall down, nothing's gonna happen, and they will make a really nice contrast in my collection next to Origins, next to Classics, next to vintage stuff that I also have from the Masters of the Universe and that I love so much, right? But if you ask me, and I have to give a judgment about this bulk of 5 figures coming in one bag, right? I would give it 10 out of 10. It's valuable, it has a good variety, it's really nicely made toys, and they have the classical cult factor. All characters are easily identifiable. Everything remembers you to the characters that we love so much, and I'm really thrilled. I'm really thrilled to have them here, and that's so for it. I would like that you share your opinion about these type of Mexican bootlegs. I would like that you share your opinion about these Mexican bootlegs at special. Do you like them, or do you think they're a total failure? Do you think they're an offense to the brand that we love, that I also love and support, or do you think they are an enrichment? What is your opinion about bootlegs in general, and especially about this nice little set of the Masters of the Universe? If you like the program, well, hit the bell, give me a like, give me a subscribe, please. You see my channel is still very small. I'm trying growing. Yeah, and if you have liked it, take the time, hit the button, and we're going to see us very, very soon again. Greetings to all my collectional brothers, English-speaking brothers all over the world, from Mexico. And with this, I am out.
Masters Maniac Mexico.